So like, I didn't start like I wasn't perfect. Then I just like use my friends to like practice and whatnot.
Hmm.
So
I'm
yes.
impressed. I must say, I'm impressed because I would have like, and I guess I can pivot into what I said in the introduction that
Mm.
I can testify that you are absolutely brilliant at what you do. That is because hello there. Welcome again to another episode of Africans Abroad, the podcast. This is your host, Christopher Eves Ricks. Today, I happen to have with me a wonderful, ambitious, hardworking, talented queen who happens to be from Nigeria and is residing in Manitoba, Canada. Um, this lady has her own clothing line or clothing brand called Kuga Customs. We're going to talk all about it. And I can actually testify that she is absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm going
Thank
to
you.
disclose how I know this firsthand later in the conversation. But listen, without wasting any more time, the next African Abroad on the Africans Abroad podcast is Miss Ori of Kuga Customs. Welcome to the podcast, Ori.
Thank you, Christopher.
Yeah.
So I'll just correct you right there. It
Uh-huh.
is Choga.
Koga?
Choga.
Koga. Ooh,
Yes.
yeah. Is
Yes.
that I needed to ask about the name because I thought it was nice. Choga.
Choga, yes.
Yeah.
It means tradition actually.
It means tradition. Okay. Choga Customs. Like it.
Thank
Like it.
you.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you are here. It took a
I'm glad.
while. Really, it took a while because the first time it was my stuff going wrong. I just couldn't understand what was going on.
Yes.
And then later you were not feeling well.
No,
But I'm glad we are here now and able to make this happen. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's just jump right into it. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. It's quite warm or not so cold in Winnipeg, so I'm loving the weather so far. But
When you
yeah,
say not so cold, because people from Winnipeg, like that means it's what, 0 degrees?
no, it's I think -15. But actually it's not, it's the windshield is
It's
like
it's not okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels like -15, but I think it's actually -9
Okay.
when I check.
Well, yeah, for Winnipeg, that is kind of warm.
Yeah.
Um, we had minus, I think, 7 here, and I was cold today.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyways, that's good. That's good. Uh, Ori, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, let them know who you are, what you do, at the moment.
Okay. So I am Ori, my first name and last name Choga. I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is like in Canada, and I run a clothing fashion brand called Choga, means tradition, like I said earlier. I specialize in custom made clothes for men and women, for their special occasion. So
Hey,
that's it.
that's that's Ori. All right, so I usually like to go a little back and dig. I
Okay.
like to get the entire story, who you are, where you come from, how come you're here today, because all of that is seems to be all related in some way somehow.
Yeah.
So, first thing I think I'm going to ask, when did you move to Canada?
I came here in 2012, but I came for school. So I was studying at the University of Manitoba and I was taking nutrition. So I came.
Nutrition. Okay, okay. That's interesting.
I know.
Yeah. No, nothing wrong with that. But I like people that are diverse in several ways, Patrician
Yeah,
clothing line.
like I always had the love of like fashion or like making stuff from like
Okay.
very young age because I had like dolls
Yeah.
and I would sew clothes for my dolls. So
Hmm.
it wasn't like really brand new. It was just like something I developed. Okay,
Hmm.
you know.
Okay. So you moved to Canada 2012. Is there something that you miss that you really long for since you've been living in Canada?
Uh, yes, I
Yeah.
would say the culture.
Yeah.
In terms of like food, partying, events,
Hmm.
family. There's such a huge connection of like people back home. So like with families, friends, you're never alone.
No.
Um, so I really miss that. And being with family and friends, there's always like events,
Hmm.
food, and all that to go to and enjoy. So or people who have your best interest at heart.
Hmm.
I miss that. Or it's very significant because here I'm on my own. I do things on my own. I
You
just feel
have
like
it.
I'm on, but back home, like
Yeah.
um that comfort of knowing that, oh, someone cares about me or someone is constantly checking up on me. Not
Hmm.
like my parents don't call me or my
Hmm.
siblings right now,
But
but it's
it's
just
different.
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, of having that presence. So like there's always someone around you or with you.
Mm.
um, but I also miss how chaotic it is.
Yeah.
um, as well, very busy,
Yeah.
very everybody in your business.
Hmm.
At the same time, it's like a pro and con,
Yeah.
but I really miss that.
I totally get that. Yeah. Okay, so upon moving to Canada, what was your first impression? Did you move directly to Winnipeg? Yes, you said you went to school in Winnipeg, so you probably moved
Yes.
directly to Winnipeg. What was your first impression of the society, of the place, of the weather? I mean, the weather we already know, but yeah.
I knew that before coming. Everyone's like,
Mhm.
it's so hot. I was like,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
Africans thrive everywhere, so we're
Yeah,
going to be
but
back home.
the first impression of maybe the culture or just living there, compared to living in Nigeria.
Um, the culture shock,
Mhm.
in the sense that, as well, people aren't Uh, they do care, but everybody's distant. Everybody's like minding their business.
Mhm.
You basically have to do things on your own, with little or no support. So it was a huge
Yeah,
shock that,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm
Um,
oh,
okay, okay. Were you able to find a network, through school, through friends at school, or anything like that?
yeah, over time I made like friends, with my course mate or people that I was living with
Mhm.
in the dormitory. So it was like, I got to meet like people of my
Yeah.
skin color to befriend.
Okay, okay. Um, so let's talk a little bit about this Koga, or
Choka.
Choga. You're
Choka.
gonna have to correct me there, Choga.
Yeah. No worries, I will.
Okay. Um, so I've seen your work. It's pretty amazing. And I'm very, very curious of how this journey started for you. Where did the interest come from? How far can you remember back that you had this interest in styling people?
Okay, so when I can't remember how old, but I was like very, very young. I'm a late child.
Mhm.
So in the sense that all my siblings, are way older than I am. And I never really had like my siblings to play with me because they were always like in school or doing something else. And my mom wanted to keep me busy. So she got like this huge dolls. they're kind of almost my size, when I was young, and they became my friends, and I needed to dress them up and change their outfits. So my mom kind of enabled it because she started sewing their outfits too.
All
So
right.
I picked that interest in like,
Yeah.
you know, sewing and trying to dress them up every day and whatnot. And then when I got to secondary school or primary school,
Mhm.
it kind of died down. I never picked up sewing again till I moved to Canada. And it was because we had like an event, like an African event coming up, and then I tried to find where I could find like African print or like African designs, because what we wear is very different from the normal or the average clothing.
Mhm.
And I couldn't find that, so I just told my friends I needed to get a sewing machine. We went to Walmart. I bought, so I couldn't remember how to sew because I never sewed with a sewing machine. It was always with like needle and thread. And then I just started watching YouTube, and that's where,
I was
you know,
started. Wow.
yeah, again, from.
So let me see if I can do the math here. It was what was it? 2012 you moved to Canada.
Yeah.
Um, and so 10 years,
Yes.
that's not a
Okay.
long time.
No, no, it's,
Wow.
because I've kind of developed over the years. I'm
Mhm.
self-taught.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't start like I wasn't perfect. Then I just like use my friends to like practice and whatnot. So
Mhm. Hmm. I'm
yes.
impressed. I must say I'm impressed because I would have like and I guess I can pivot into what I said in the introduction that
Mm,
I can testify that you are absolutely brilliant at what you do. That is
thank
because this wonderful lady here designed the dress that my wife wore at my wedding. And I'm sure if we're posted the video before I post this, I'm gonna definitely, publish that. But
you.
that was amazing. It blew my mind, and I must say, I think you already knew because I was there was a situation that happened before we even she even got to contact you
Oh yes.
about the dress, and it was like maybe a month before.
Mm,
Went into some issues and so I was really skeptical. I was like, please just buy a dress. I'm so scared that something would go wrong.
yeah.
And but I had to trust her judgment. And I'm so happy that I did that because um I know her taste. And if she was comfortable with you along the way, which means something it meant it was promising. And but I did not get to see anything, of course. I mean, I had to be in the dark until that
Yes.
day. And I'm just gonna say it. I cried. Like
Oh,
the combination of my wife's beauty and the dress, that was the perfect match. It was beautiful. And so that's why I can testify that this woman right here, she is amazing. I mean, so I guess my question is gonna be, um, designing clothing for people, designing dresses, designing, styling people is one thing, but what got you to take that bold step over to wedding attires? Because I know, especially for the ladies, that's no joke. It's nothing to
no.
play
Oh
with.
my.
Like, I think that's really brave for one. But what got you to take that bold step into that direction?
Um, so when I create dresses, and it's it brings joy to my heart. I'm just always happy and extremely happy when, the client tries on the dress, and the smile and say, "Oh, I love it." Like
Mm,
my head explodes.
yeah.
And I just love it so much. And I love making people happy. I love seeing people satisfied with
Hmm.
what, they have. So I was like, you know what? I was just, let me just put
Give
my
it a
hands
try.
into that. And then
Yeah.
it was like, it was stressful because, it's a bride and like, that's their biggest day. So it's
Mhm.
like, I don't want to mess up. I want it to be perfect in any way. Like I just want to take off the stress, of like looking for what fits me or what doesn't fit me. I want this, I want that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to handle all that stress and then put it on me, and then I create your perfect
Mm.
garment that you love. So,
Oh, that is something, because I would say that, um yes, you made the dress. Yes, the dresses, actually, because it was two dresses. They were beautiful. However, there was just this extra service that followed, that was amazing. I don't think, um we we did not pay you for that. Like what you offered, the services you offered, I would really, hope that someday when you blow up, because I know it has to happen,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
by the grace of God, when you blow up, I would hope that that same, um, service nature that you have within yourself, that you're able to clone other people that you work with, to be able to, further it on, because it makes, a person feel special. It is their special day, and I can say that she had the best service ever.
Thank
Like,
you so much.
for real. Yeah. Wow. So you also spoke about men's attire. What kind of stuff do you make for men?
Um, I've made suits
Yeah.
or the traditional senator they call it. So
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
the
I love
up,
those. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and down. So I make those as well, but that's not really my focus.
Hmm.
I only make that, when I have brides really request, that they want to match with their partner.
Yeah.
Uh, then I would offer to make that for them. But
Hmm.
um, with a male just coming to me for an outfit, I don't really. But
Hmm.
when it's a
Okay.
couple, then I have to just put that aside and then
Yeah.
make for both.
Okay. So tell me, what does the life of Ori look like right now, as a designer, as a business owner? I assume that you also have other stuff on the side too that you work with. What does it look like, when it comes to everyday life for you?
Oh, so I have another job, a
Hmm.
9 to 5,
Hmm.
which I do that Monday to, well, it depends, but you know 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I used to work like 3 days or 4 days a week, but then with like Christmas, they needed me more.
Hmm.
Um, but for my 9 to 5, once I'm done, then I start. So I work 8:30 to 4 or
Hmm.
8, sorry, 8 a.m. to 4:30. And then after 4:30, I begin sewing all the way till like 12, 1 p.m., 1 a.m.
Hmm.
and then sleep.
Wow.
And then the cycle like repeats itself.
Yeah.
On the days that I'm off, I just like solely sew, maybe go to the fabric store, do some light shopping, and then back to sewing again. So it's just pretty work
Mm.
for now.
Mm. That means you have to enjoy doing it. I mean, of
Yes.
course, sometimes you like, even if you enjoy doing stuff, you sometimes we all lack motivation to work, but I find it kind of like this that I do here, it's an extra stuff that I do apart from my 9 to 5, apart from kids, family, and all of
Yeah.
that. And I've tried other things before, that just it did not fulfill me. It did not feel, I had to have that drive to be able to do it. And yeah, so to be able to, like, that's consuming your entire day, all your time. But like you said at the beginning, you like it, you look forward to the end result. It seems like, getting that wow from your customers. So that's really amazing. Hats off to you that you're able to, put in the hours like that. I really, like I said, I know someday, somehow, some way, somehow, with the right support and the right people around you, it's gonna blow up because, yeah, talent usually
Thank
does.
you.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
I do agree with you with passion because I had like other things doing as well. So I used to bake, I used to cook, and I used to make hair too.
yeah,
So these were things that I was doing, but not like at the same time at different times. But I never did like it was always like a chore doing it. So
yeah.
I was like, I'm so tired after cooking. I'm just so stressed. But with this, like in my sleep, I think about sewing. So
Mm,
it's more like a hobby, for me, because I enjoy doing it.
mm,
So it's like it's not stressful at all. If for anything, I'm
mm.
stressed with my 9 to 5. They
Yeah,
know, they actually know because I always tell my manager I'm so
yeah.
stressed. But I'm never stressed sewing. So
No, it calms you down actually. Yeah, that's that's how it's supposed to be. That's what, I guess people call purpose. So, what is the future? How do you see the future of your design at Choga? Choga. That's the name, right? Choga.
yes,
Yes.
toga. Yeah,
Choga
that's the
Customs.
name. Yes.
Where do you see it in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, owning my own place.
Hmm.
I really want to have like a storefront. I
Hmm.
want it to be like a household name. Um, I just want great things for my business.
Yeah.
I want to excel. Um, but would get there.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
Okay.
Okay. Does any of your plan have to do with, um, back home, Africa, Nigeria?
Yes, it does. So I've gone home like 3 times
Hmm.
in the last 3 years. Because once I go, like I try to learn um things. So like I'm learning from the designers back home. So at a point, I really want to have like a place down there as well, because the fashion industry in Nigeria is very huge. So I want to have like an establishment there and here as well. But also aside fashion, I'm also like going back to school. So I'm studying health as well, which is for now, I would say I don't even know.
Hmm.
But I also, I really want to change the way of the healthcare system in Nigeria as well. So right now, I'm just, praying to God, asking for direction on, what way or what to follow. But right now, I do not have like a direct clarity. But I do know I want to do those two things.
Yeah. I definitely pray that you get the clarity that you need because um yeah, sometimes in most cases a lot of people would benefit from what you do, what you're able to contribute. Um and I would also say I'm a strong believer in the fact that if we are able to, especially for us Africans in the diaspora, if we're able to take care of ourselves here, we're able to invest in ourselves here, that would eventually directly have a positive effect on back home on the continent as a whole, you know. So yeah, I pray that you just continue to invest and to make use of the time that you have to pour into yourself so that later you'll be able to pour into others.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
goal.
yeah.
Thank
Uh,
you.
what would you say to another young lady out there that um, wants that's aspiring to do what you do, that wants to be a fashion designer, wants to contribute in some way to her community, her society, to other women? Um, what would you say to her, or maybe in another way, what would you say to her younger self? That could be a word of encouragement to get through.
First thing is don't give up. If you know that fashion or designing, sewing is what you want to do, and you feel like you have the drive, the purpose, like what is it doing? Like, is it impacting other people, or are you just doing it for profit? Like, just search within you. And once you find that answer, like be patient. um with sewing or anything, there's always growing to do. So you can't just achieve like 100% at the first year, second year, third year. Like there's room to evolve. So give yourself time, grace, and rest. But eventually everything will like come together in the end, especially if you're learning to like sew. It takes time learning, yes, to master like a skill. But if it's designing, you can just sketch and then you go. But patience is the advice.
I like that. I like that. Is there anything you would do differently from the way you've done it so far?
Not really, but when it comes to um putting myself out there, that's what I want to do differently. So I would want to have exposure more. So post more of what I do, post more of, any garment, regardless of if it's perfect or not. I would just post so people can see my progress.
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, I have like a huge um I would say imposter syndrome of
Yeah.
like, you're not good, you're not great, you're not and I would say even comparing myself. Like I
For others.
compare myself as in a good way,
Yeah.
but also in a bad way because he affects me. I'm like, oh, okay, I can't wait to reach this height of this person, but then I beat myself up that why am I not there right now? But then I still know that I have some work to do, but then it's like, but you're not there. So there's just that I would change and have that, okay, just post whatever and then go. That's what I will.
Wow. Okay. To be honest, I actually struggle with the same thing. Yeah, I can totally relate when it comes to putting what I do of myself out there, you know. I really struggle with it, and it's something that I really been saying to myself internally, especially this year, to just, even if I don't think that it's good enough, put it out there. Like it's, yeah. I've had to have some discussions of such with my wife about that, and it's really glad that you said that, actually. Okay, so let's pivot into a little segment that I call "Is There a Balance?" It's just a couple of questions that I ask right off the bat, and you just whatever comes to mind. Yeah. What are some of the day-to-day challenges that you face within what you do? I kind of feel like you already touched a bit on that, but let's just hear what you're gonna say.
Okay. First, my work balance. So my 9 to 5. You know, there's that challenge because my business right now is not capable of taking care of itself and in financially. So I need that 9 to 5 to support my goal. So that is like, oh, okay, I need to do that. And I guess that's why I'm stressed at that job, because it's like something I just have to do just because I need to enhance my lifestyle of sewing. So there's that challenge of like no time, there's no rest. Also, with the challenge of like some people as well thinking that you're not worth it, so it like actually affects your business and like the way you feel or like the motivation towards working, continuing what you're doing, I would say.
Okay. So let's balance that up a little bit. You do this design a lot of African stuff, but sometimes not, you know, exactly African. But whatever the case is, you design stuff for majority Africans,
Yes.
I believe. And you live in Canada. What would you say some of the privileges or the advantages you have compared to your counterparts in Nigeria or back home in Africa somewhere that's doing the same thing?
I wouldn't say there's an advantage, especially in Winnipeg, because first of all, in Winnipeg, people don't really go out for activities or events like that. So there isn't that big of a market here for custom made dresses. However, in Nigeria and Africa, like every day there's an event. So, you have like multiple clients coming in. The second thing would be because it's just me sewing, I do not have like an assistant or workers. There's so much that I can take on. However, in Nigeria, like labor is, I wouldn't say labor is cheap, but it's matched to what the current
economy.
Yes, is. So as opposed to like Canada, whereby the minimum wage is, I don't know, maybe, let me just say $12.
Yeah.
And let's say you charge someone like $100 for an outfit. It's like you're not making any profit because all that money would basically go to the person you hired. So I
Yeah.
would say it's more of cons
Yeah.
than pros
Yeah.
when it comes to
That's a way
social
to look at it. Okay. Um, what would you say have been the worst experience so far for you within, say, within Canada or within your business? Um, you you work together with clients, what's the worst memorable moment that you've had so far? Uh,
Oh my God. Wow. I won't really go much into it,
mhm,
but I would say that because I sacrifice a lot. I
mhm,
try to make my clients as happy as they can be. I did cancel work for a client,
mhm,
and she came in and she's like, "Oh, um, she didn't like the dress
mhm,
because of a body part." And it's like, "Oh,
mhm.
it looks too big," and basically threatened me. Brought her boyfriend to threaten me, and it was just like,
Oh,
um, I can't have this. So I just like refunded the money and then cried and cried
oh man.
because I'm like, I put my 100%. I
Hmm.
always put my
Yeah,
100% into
yeah.
everything. So it was just, I didn't cry that it it didn't fit or not, she didn't like it or whatnot. I cried because you're threatening me, and I didn't feel threatened, but I'm just like, that's not how I would never do that to
No,
anyone.
no.
Why would you do that to me? So that's, and I'm peaceful. I cry. That's my fighting language, crying. When I
Mm,
can't express myself, I cry.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that was it.
Let's see if we can balance that off because the most memorable moment then. The most memorable uh
Mm,
positive moment that you've experienced so far.
okay, so all my with each outfit I make, it's
Hmm.
always memorable because
Yeah.
everybody leaves like an impression on you. But I would say memorable moment would be the Winnipeg Free Press
Hmm.
actually finding me. I was like, oh wow, so people know about me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Wow.
was like, okay, I thought I was hidden, but I guess not. So that was memorable for them to
Mm,
like interview me and say like,
okay.
oh, reach out to me
Yeah.
without, anybody um sending
Hmm.
my name to them or anything like that.
Hmm. If you had to sum up your experiences so far using three words or phrases, what would that be?
Um, I would say there's been resilience.
Hmm.
Um, there's been empowerment, and then there's been, I don't know, sacrifice. The sacrifice go. Can you add sacrifice on the resilience, or can it be on its own?
I definitely think within the field that you work, especially at the stage that you are right now, there's a lot of sacrifice.
Yes. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'll take that.
okay.
I'll, I'll take that. Uh, so okay, right. So like I maybe one more question.
Okay.
I sometimes like ask some people, I kind of read the room to be able to ask this question. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
put it out there. Ori,
Oh,
with all of what you're doing, all of this stuff that you have going on, is Ori single?
no.
Let's just
Hey,
put you
you
out.
want to
I'm just
cast
gonna put
me
it out there.
though?
I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, it's fine if you don't want to answer, but is Ori single? Are you
Okay, I choose not
you
to.
chose not to? Okay. All right, fine.
So that
You
my
choose not.
many men and the women will not.
I like that. That's exactly why I ask because I think it's fun. Mm.
All right, I
All
got
right. Yeah. Okay.
you.
All right. All right. We'll leave it like that.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ori. Thank you so much for being here, talking to us today. It was a wonderful conversation. Thank you for sharing your story. And I'm gonna put all of her, what is it, Instagram?
Yes.
Yeah, links on the description. And yeah. So you guys out there, follow. She's one. She's great at what she does. I'm gonna post some stuff. You're gonna see it. And yeah, and you guys just thank you for watching too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and until next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ori. Okay.
All right.